Why do I feel like this is so close? Oh, not closer. Back it up, beep, beep. Okay, maybe that's a little bit better. Why is it not raining? Today is just not my day. Welcome back to our channel. Today I am going to be doing part 2 of our Q&A, which is all about our infertility journey and everything kind of pre-deciding to adopt. So I have your questions here and I'm going to be answering some of those. Let's get to your questions. First question, which was asked by a lot of different people, was about surrogacy, or if we've ever considered it. Now, surrogacy is normally when they take your embryos and they put them in another woman who will be your surrogate and will carry the baby to term, and then once the baby is born, it's yours. It's very different from adoption because the child is biologically ours, but kind of the same way in that someone else is carrying the child. We thought about it a little bit. Surrogacy is very expensive, normally just as expensive, if not more expensive than adoption. And I think because we don't know why we can't get pregnant, we don't know if it's an issue with the embryos, we were not so inclined to kind of go that route, because we could have put all that money into it and then been left at the same point where then we were going to go to adoption. So I guess the topic was brought up a little bit, but not really in much detail. It's not something that we really considered very seriously. Derek and I have said it before, but our quest to get pregnant was not about having a child that was biologically ours. It was just rooted in my deep desire to be pregnant and experience pregnancy. So I think a lot of people go the surrogacy route, which is great. If you truly want to have a child that is biologically yours, then I would say yes, that maybe the surrogacy route would be a good route to go, and try that way if you can't quite let go of having a child that is biologically yours, which is fine. I mean, there's different things for all kinds of different people. But yeah, it's just not really something that we were really concerned about or worried about. Adoption was more of a surefire way of we're going to have our baby at the end of it. And surrogacy seemed kind of more like, let's just try another round of IVF and hope that it works. So question number 2 is from Chelsea. She says, hey guys, just wondering, how do you stay positive when things don't work out? You know, it's kind of unfair that Derek and I started vlogging and sharing this journey with you guys this far into it. I mean, when we started vlogging last March, we were hitting 5 years of trying to get pregnant, and so we were kind of veterans, if you will, in the process of trying to get pregnant and the disappointments in that. And so we grew a lot over those 5 years, and a lot changed over those 5 years, and a lot of the way that we dealt with things changed over those 5 years. And so the way that we deal with things now is very different than the way that we dealt with them before. I had many years of just being very depressed and upset and angry and not understanding why it wasn't working, and we didn't do much. We stayed in the house a lot and we didn't go out and experience life. And that is one thing that I try to tell people all the time, is don't let your infertility keep you from living your life, because one day, like I did 5 years later, you're gonna wake up and realize that you've wasted those years and you can't get them back. And there's so many good things in life other than having a child. And while I, of all people, understand that deep-rooted desire to have a child and to have a family, there's just so many other good things to experience. And when we started vlogging was kind of like the cornerstone of me especially learning to live my life and be happy again. And it kind of started with a long process of weight loss. If you guys have watched our Fit Friday vlogs and stuff like that, you know, I was almost 400 pounds when I started losing weight. And I've lost 130 pounds now. And so that completely changed my life and the outlook that I have on life. And I can do so many more things. And just trying to find things that make me happy again. And finding things that I enjoy and spending my time doing those things, so that when, say, a month comes where you get a negative pregnancy test, that's not all that you were excited about for that month or all that you were working towards that month. It was just one thing that didn't happen to work out that month. But you have all of these other things that you can go and experience and do. So I would say my piece of advice to staying happy and positive is just to keep life going. It's always good to mourn the loss of, you know, a pregnancy that month, or the loss of an idea of a pregnancy, if, you know, the test is negative. But you just have to keep moving forward. It's hard. It's hard to stay positive. I don't stay positive all the time. I hope that we don't sugarcoat things in our vlogs to make you guys think that we're positive all the time. We definitely have our moments and our days when we're just kind of down and depressed about things. Obviously now it's different because we're going through the adoption process and things have gone rather smoothly, and so we're finally to that point where things are kind of working. But yeah, it's been a long 6.5 years to get to this point. Errol and Melissa ask, my husband and I are seeking fertility treatments and the cost for our first cycle is almost $1,000. Do you have any suggestions on ways to start a fundraiser or a GoFundMe page? I'm not very familiar with GoFundMe stuff. I know a lot of people use it. As far as fundraisers, I have seen people do so many different things, from a yard sale, a bake sale. One thing that I saw the other day, which was really, really cool, is they're selling puzzle pieces. And I think they're like $5 for a puzzle piece. And I think the whole puzzle is like maybe 500 pieces or something like that. And so for every puzzle piece that is bought, they're putting it together. And then when it's full, I think they're doing like a name reveal or something. I don't know. I'm not friends with these people. I just saw the idea on an Instagram post. So I thought that was kind of cool. You could do kind of all kinds of different things, a name reveal or a gender reveal or whatever. But I thought that that was pretty neat to do something like that. Derek and I just saved a lot of our own money for our fertility treatments. We also, for IVF, kind of had an advantage, and we had really good insurance coverage, and so we didn't have to spend an arm and a leg like a lot of people do for IVF. So that's another thing that I would recommend, is looking into companies who have IVF coverage in their insurance, or infertility coverage in their insurance. There are a lot of big companies out there who are starting to add that to their policies, and so obviously you would have to change jobs, but it might be worth it to look into that. My next question is from Victoria, Tori Baby. She said, what is one piece of advice you would give to someone struggling with infertility who is at a crossroads of choosing between more IVF or adoption? Oh man, this is a tough question, and one that I kind of had to think a lot about today, especially leading up to filming this video. It's kind of a hard question to answer because, like I've said several times, adoption is not for everyone, and you kind of have to you have to wait until you're okay with it. And Derek and I have tried twice before now to get into the adoption process and just kind of backed out due to different reasons, but I think the number one reason was that we just weren't ready. The first time we hadn't tried IVF yet, and so I was still kind of holding on to the hope of, well, should we have done IVF or should we still be doing adoption? And so after we did IVF, we tried to jump right into adoption earlier this year, and again we were like, I don't know if this is what we're supposed to do. And so we kind of like over, I'd say between April and July, when we finally decided to go ahead with the adoption, we just kind of were floating. We didn't really talk about infertility stuff, and we didn't really think about it, and it kind of just came to us one night of neither of us really knowing what each other were thinking about, and come to find out we had both been thinking that maybe adoption is what we should do. And so it was just, and we don't talk about religion a whole lot on our channel, but I would just have to say it was a God thing of just putting that peace and comfort in our hearts and saying, this is what you're supposed to do, and now is the right time. And so I would say you just gotta talk about it, you gotta pray about it, you gotta think about it. I know a lot of people like Victoria who have gone through many, many rounds of IVF and finally have their rainbow baby. And so it can work, and it does work. And so I would never discourage someone from going through IVF again if that's really what you want to do, and saying that, well, if the first time or the second time or the third time didn't work, then there's no point in going through it. There's many, many women who have success after several cycles and trying different things. And so I would say if you feel like having a biological child is very, very important to you, then I would say stick with IVF, because you don't ever want to go through adoption and then once that baby is here realize that adoption's not for you, because then it's kind of hard. You have your baby and it's going to be a long life for them and for you to live in regret in a way, I guess. And so I would recommend just I know I was very, very impatient, and I wanted my baby, and after waiting for 6.5 years, I want my baby, and I don't want to wait any longer, and I want it right now. And so I think the other 2 times when we started trying to go through the adoption process, it was more about, I'm just impatient and I don't want to wait anymore, and I don't know if these other things are going to work, so I just want to go through adoption. And adoption is about so much more than just bringing a baby into your family. So I can talk about that in another video. But I would say you got to make it about you. This is a time, and even Victoria told me this is a time when you can be selfish and you can decide what you want, and don't listen to what anybody else has to say. Just decide what you and your partner want and what you need, and make that decision and be okay with that decision, and don't feel bad because you feel like you're wasting money or you feel like you're wasting time. Next question is from Nina. I think it's Nina. If I said your name wrong, I'm very sorry. How many children would you like to have, girls or boys? Who will be the strict one and who will give in easier? What's the one thing you have dreamed of doing with your child? So many questions, Nina, but so many fantastic ones. So we'll start with the first one. It says, how many children would you like to have? I would like to have 4. Derek, I think, also would like to have 4. Obviously, if we're not ever able to get pregnant, it's going to depend on our financial status and kind of where we're at financially. Adoption is very expensive. A lot of you guys have asked questions about the cost of adoption. I'll go over that in the third part of our Q&A. So I guess that's kind of where I'm at with that. We've also seriously talked about starting the foster to adopt program after our first baby is here. So I would say 4. That's what I would love to have, and that's kind of what we have been set on this whole time. Obviously, we don't have 1 yet, and so a lot of people tell me, well, you don't have 1, so don't decide you want 4. So we'll see. I would like to have 4, though. That's kind of where I'm at. Also, we've talked about going into the foster adopt system. Maybe we'll have more than 4. I don't know. I would have never guessed that our road would have led us here, and so I can only imagine what is coming in the future, and I'm so thrilled and so excited about that. But yeah, if you asked me, I would say 4. Girls or boys? I would like kind of 2 of each. I know that's probably what everybody says, but I would like for the oldest to be a girl, and then the youngest to be a boy, and then wherever the other 2 fall in there, doesn't really matter to me. Who will be the strict one and who will give in easier? I will be the strict one. Derek always gives in easier. I don't know. I guess maybe because I have been a nanny for so long and kind of done the whole babysitting nanny stuff. We've been in situations where we both are together with kids, and I am always the strict one, and he is always the one that's like, I'm like, you have to go to bed. And Derek's with the kids saying, just 5 more minutes. Can we finish this movie? So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know, maybe it'll change with our own kids. I'm not sure. What's the one thing you have dreamed of doing with your child? I'm sure you guys can all guess. But I cannot wait to take my children to Disney. I don't know. It's going to be a very emotional day of walking through those gates and being there with them. It's my favorite place in the whole entire world to be, and it is a place where I have so many memories and have experienced so many good times. Derek and I went there on our honeymoon. We were there when my niece went for the first time. It's just a magical, special place, and so I'm so excited to experience that with them. And I'm so thrilled to be on this process now. My sister's about to have a baby in November, and so our kids are probably going to be really close in age. Rowan is going to turn 2 in December, so she will even still be close in age, and I feel like we've talked a lot about raising children kind of around the same age and getting to do that together, and so I'm really, really excited about that. I can't wait to do that. That's going to be a lot of fun. So that is the end of the questions today. Like I said, part 3 will be going up. I will do that with Derek. Derek is asleep right now and he's not feeling very well, so I took one for the team and did this one on my own. But part 3 will be all about adoption, our adoption agency, cost of adoption, gender, race, all of that fun stuff. And we will put that up sometime next week. Maybe I'll do it again on Wednesday. But thank you guys so much for your questions. If you did not leave a question on the other video where I asked for your questions, you can leave one about adoption in the comments down below, and I will check this one as well to see what other questions you guys have about our adoption stuff. But I am going to get going and get this edited and get it up for you guys, so I will see you guys again on Friday. I hope you guys are having a fantastic middle of your week. We've almost made it to the weekend. This week has been brutal and I'm ready for it to be over. So, hope you guys have a fantastic evening. We will see you guys on Friday. Bye.